If you are applying to become an online teacher as a stay-at-home mom, you're probably wondering, what are the secrets to getting hired? What do I need to do to make sure that I secure my spot as an online teacher and I can start making money? And today, I have 5 online teaching application secrets that you can use in not only your application, but every class following to make sure that you are a great online teacher. Hey, I'm online teacher Allison, and I teach stay-at-home moms how to teach online so they can earn an income from home. And if you love these 5 tips, then head on over to onlineteacherallison.com/get hired, because I have 5 even better tips that I used in my interview and got hired with and continue to use them throughout my online teaching journey. And I still use a lot of them today. All right, so let's get right on to it. Your very first one is a smile. These kids are brand new to learning English, and they're probably intimidated. Think about you in 2020 when Zoom learning and Zoom meetings and Zoom working was a thing. You don't love being on camera, but your native language was spoken, or a language you are fluent in was spoken. So I want to show you the difference, okay? Hi, I'm teacher Allison. It's nice to meet you. What's your name? I wasn't smiling. I didn't even love watching myself do that. So now let's bring it in with a smile and some energy. Hi, I'm teacher Allison. What's your name? Do you see the difference? I was getting ready to go into my next sentence there. So the difference, which teacher do you want to be? Which teacher do you want to have for yourself or your children? You want to have the one that's smiley and fun and happy to be there, not the one that sits like this. So number 2, I kind of went into it with my smile. Introduce yourself. Say your name and get their name too. I have my name back here, and they can't really read, so it's okay, but you say it over and over again. So let's go through an introduction together so you can kind of see what mine looks like, and we'll talk in a second. So just like you saw it. Hello, I'm teacher Allison. What's your name? And then let them say their name. And I even go a step further. Hi, Rebecca. I'm happy to see you. How are you? And they might be able to tell you, they might not. So this introduction is for your very basic beginners. If you have older kids that know some of the language already, of course you won't be so childish with it. You're going to meet them at their level. So if they're a little higher, hi, I'm teacher Allison. What's your name? And they'll tell you, hi, Sam. How old are you? And they'll tell you how are you? I'm happy to see you. So you can see kind of the difference in levels, but that smile is always there. You're always getting their name. One kind of caveat to their name is some of them pick American names and some of them don't. And if they don't pick American names, the pronunciation can be tricky. So what I recommend with that is, at least day 1, if you can't get it, call them friend and then go look it up. Go look it up for your next class together so you can have the best pronunciation possible. You don't really want to butcher it. Another thing I've seen online teachers do, and I've done myself, but I prefer friends, is for a Chinese student, bao bao, because in Chinese, bao bao is like a loving term that parents use for their child. It's kind of like my baby. So I didn't love calling them like my baby, but they're familiar with the term. So I sometimes ask bao bao, and I kind of gauged their face to see how they like to be called bao bao by some American teacher they've never met. So I stuck with friend, and then I really tried hard to go look up the pronunciation, or I would ask in the communities if anyone had had that student before and how to say their name. You try your best with that, okay? So tip number 3 is use their name. Once you get it, you want to use it throughout the class. This helps build a great connection with you and the student. It makes them feel important and that you've listened to them. It just makes them feel heard. So if I find their name in the beginning is Elsa, I had a lot of Elsas. I say, okay, Elsa, draw a circle around the color blue. Okay, Elsa, it's your turn. Okay, Elsa, how do you say this? What is this? And this is a pen. So it's a way to get their attention, and it's a way for them to know it's my turn. I am Elsa. I'm going to go speak. My teacher is listening to me. And while you are using their names, this is tip number 4, use hand motions so they know when to talk and when to listen. And the hand motions might confuse you, so hold on a second. So when you are listening, you're cupping your hands so they can talk. That's their space. When they're listening, you are pointing to your mouth as you say what they're going to say. So if we're practicing the word pen, I'm going to have my finger up to my mouth. This is a pen. And now that it's Elsa's turn to talk, I'm going to have my hand up to my ear, so I'm listening to Elsa. And sometimes I even hold my hand out like, come on, because they don't always get it the first time. So it helps them know when to talk. And as they get more comfortable with online English lessons and the flow of it and the setup, you're not going to need to do this as much. So one other thing I do with this is once they don't need to listen, so they don't need the direction to listen so much, I count the words on my fingers because it does help with pronunciation and it helps them hear the difference. I am notorious for talking very quickly, and it is something I've always been in high school all the time. They're like, you talk too fast. I'm like, I know, but that's where I grew up and I can't help it. So during my online classes, I really had to be cognizant of slowing down. And one of the ways I did that for myself is counting on my fingers. So it helps them and it helps me. This is a pen. What is it, Elsa? And then ideally she would say, this is a pen. And if she can't do it, then repeat it again. If she needs pronunciation help, like pin instead of pen, you're going to slow it down. Pen, pen, to help them really get that. So counting on fingers is a great way for them to listen. Putting your finger to your mouth is a good way for them to listen. And then when it's their turn, cup your ear. And I always make sure my ear is visible, especially in the beginning, so they know what I'm doing. Usually my hair is down, so you can't see it when I do that. Or usually, even more, I have headphones on. So it's a little easier because these are obviously my ears. But if you are a teacher that wears AirPods or something that's harder to see, make sure that your ear is visible so they know that it's time to talk and you're listening very intently to them. And tip number 5, make sure you have some sort of background. You don't want a messy room behind you. You don't want a bunch of activity with your kids or your family in and out of the frame. It doesn't have to be expensive. I do have something on background setup. I've got it linked for you. This is the majority of the dollar store section of Target. So this was in the dollar section of Target, these flashcards, these colors were. This lights up, but I never light it up. And the background itself, this is wrapping paper. This I've had from Hobby Lobbies, and I just had it lying around, so I used it. So don't use anything crazy expensive. I've seen teachers decorate those trifold posters, like for science fairs. My very first one, I've got it right here so you can see. This is butcher paper that my mom got from school for me. I said, just give me a length of butcher paper. It should work just fine. And it did not work that great. It was a dark color. It was orange, you can see, because the VIP kit is orange. And that's who I was applying with. And it didn't help with my lighting. The paint in the room I was in was already dark color because it was like a movie room. And then the dark orange, and then my built-in webcam, because I did not have my good one that I talked about yet. So kind of think about these things as you are setting up your background. Even if it's just a plain white wall, or if you've got a nice desk area, don't spend a lot of money on this if you don't have to. All of this cost me probably $20. This was a freebie on Teachers Pay Teachers that I printed out. So don't spend a ton of money on it unless you want to. So I have upgraded as we've gone along. I talked about that orange sheet of paper. And then I also have a photo backdrop. I don't think I have a picture of that one. It's mostly my traveling one. I keep it at my parents' now. But it's just like a canvas of basically the world. It's like a watercolor map. And so that's my teaching background, my traveling background, because it goes up and down. That was like $20 on Amazon, so that could be a place to look at too. So you have options, but whatever you do, use your creativity and make it a welcoming space. You don't want it to be distracting. You don't want it to be unwelcoming. Make it a happy looking space because you're happy to be there and they're happy to be there. So let that reflect that, okay? So a really quick recap, make sure you smile, introduce yourself, and during the introduction, learn their name so you can use their name. Use hand motions, especially in the beginning, for when it's time to listen and when it's time to talk, and have a friendly background. If you don't want to teach the beginners, I do want to mention tip number 4, the hand motions, because A lot of times your initial interview will be for the younger kids, and you can also apply for the older ones at the same time or just a few classes later. So I want to make sure you know that tip, because even though if you have older ones, they can still be new too, okay? If you love these, I have 5 even better tips to make sure you get hired. And those are in my brand new live workshop. I'm so excited for this. I've been working on it forever. Spaces are limited, but it is open right now. My email list got first dibs, and now here we are ready for you. You can head over to onlineteacherallison.com/get hired. It is a 1-hour live workshop with me. You're going to get a live workshop with me. You're going to get a workbook you can download and refer to again and again. And there's a Q&A at the end. So make sure you sign up, because space is limited in my Zoom call. And I am so excited to see you there. I hope you're having the greatest week ever, and we'll chat soon.